Good evening and welcome. My name is Taylor Kingman, and as president of the Board of Trustees of the San Angelo Independent School District, I would like to welcome all of you who are present at tonight's regular board meeting. I also welcome all of those who are watching this meeting online or on our public access channel. We appreciate your interest in the activities of our students and the business of SAISD. All items that will be discussed at our meeting this evening have been posted as required by state law. Also, as you may be aware, our board meets at a minimum of 2 times per month, and in most, if not all, items on the agenda this evening have previously been discussed in an earlier pre-agenda board workshop. As members of the SAISD Board of Trustees, we are here to set goals, listen to reports from our superintendent, approve budgets, contracts, and personnel appointments, and to make policy for the district. Please keep in mind that our meeting is a meeting of the Board of Trustees held in public and not a meeting of the public. However, we have a public comment item on every one of our meeting agendas that allows anyone present who wishes to speak to our board team, either on an action agenda item or on a separate topic, the opportunity to do so. Please provide your name and contact information and the specific topic you wish to address on a public comment form located at the back of the room, should you want to speak on an issue on our agenda or not on our agenda. Please listen carefully and comply with the following rules so we can move through this part of the meeting efficiently. Each speaker will be given a total of 3 minutes. The district will provide an official timekeeper. The district's timekeeper will report and record the time. You'll be notified when your time is up. Please respect the privacy of others and refrain from identifying students, employees, or other community members by name. Disruption of the meeting will not be tolerated at any time. Comments on any subject, whether positive or negative, must be courteous and respectful. Comments are limited to the specific topic you indicated on the form you filled out. Any speaker with a specific complaint about a district employee, decision, or operational issue should present the complaint through the appropriate mechanism, which is the district's formal grievance process. If you have a pending grievance being processed by the district, you will not be permitted to speak about the grievance during public comment. Also, please understand if you speak to us on an item not on our action agenda, that the board cannot reply to you except to thank you for the comments, since the matter has not been posted for discussion. In compliance with state law, these proceedings are recorded and will become part of SAISD's permanent legal record. In order that the recording will adequately reflect the proceedings, I ask that you please refrain from talking while others are speaking. I also ask, as I remind my fellow board members, to please turn off or silence your cell phones. Again, thank you for being here and your support of SAISD. All right, we have a quorum. All 7 of our members are here this evening. So we will go ahead and get started. We have an invocation from Tony Valdez. He's the pastor at Edmond Boulevard Baptist Church. Thank you for being here, sir.
Let's go to the Lord in prayer. Father, we thank you for this time to come together to look at things that are going on within the school district with the children that we so much love, that you have put in our care and entrusted. Lord, may you preside over us. May you give us wisdom, direction, and guidance. Thank you for the teachers that are across the city, O Lord. As they're coming into the home stretch here, give them peace, give them comfort, give them strength. Father, we thank you as we are in this week of Holy Week, Easter, celebrating the resurrection. Thank you for your Son, Jesus. In his name we pray. Amen.
Thank you. We now have 3 students from Bel Air, Everly Thompson, Madison Thompson, and Sebastian Thompson. And I believe little sister, a future Eagle, is going to come up with them as well, because why not? It's a cute picture. All right, they're going to help us with our pledges of allegiance. For a second so we can get a picture, okay? All right, we are now going to move into our recognitions for tonight. We're going to start with Rodney Chant, and we're going to do some recognitions for some central sports. I think basketball, and swimming.
Thank you, Dr. Kingman. Dr. Moran, Board of Trustees. As our team's about to walk in from the Lady Cats, just real quick report. We had the San Angelo Relays on Friday and Saturday this last week. We had 75 teams and 1,350 participants. It was a great 2 days, but that would not have been successful without the people in our department, our custodians, our janitors, our maintenance department, and our community, and the hundreds of volunteers that prepared and worked the meet and that type of stuff. And so I just wanted to publicly say how much I appreciate them. I appreciate y'all's support as well. It brings a lot of money into San Angelo as a whole, with the hotels being full because of the teams that are here, and the meals. If you would have driven by Knickerbocker on Saturday after the meet, all these restaurants along here were completely full with buses and that type of stuff. But we appreciate y'all's support, and again, it was a successful meet, and we look forward to have it again next year. So. First team tonight that we want to recognize is our Lady Cat girls basketball team, who had a historical season, led by Arsenio Jeter.
Hello, I'm Coach Jeter. I'm the head girls basketball coach here at Central, and these are our girls, and there's a couple of them. I think there's one of them gone, but there's a lot of them that are involved in a whole lot of other things, so we're very grateful that they get to be here with us today. So even if they're not here, we're just going to talk about them for a second because there's a lot of good things that have been happening in our program. I want to let you guys know about it. So Lauren McLean is in attendance today. She was academic all-district. Addison Gonzalez was academic all-district. Nevaeh Hearn was academic all-district. She was the district co-MVP and second team academic all-state. Jasmine Gibson was academic all-district. McKenna McMillan was academic all-district and first team all-district. Anna Wierzowski was academic all-district and first team all-district. Regan Howe was academic all-district and second team all-district. Sadie Moreno was academic all-district. And y'all can let them know who you are. Sydney Moore, academic all-district, first team all-district, and second team academic all-district. Alexis Long was the district co-sixth man of the year. And I have my assistant coaches here with me today, Lauren Bird and Angelique Woodson. So that was our team, and a whole lot of individual accolades that were really great for us this year. We had a record of 23-12, and we were district co-champions for the first time in quite a while, since 2003, and then we were by-district champions to top that off. So really great year. We had a fantastic year. We appreciate all the support from the community, the parents, and the administration. We're getting to work in the off-season to continue the great winning culture that we've got started. Keep it going. Thanks, guys.
Next up, I have head coach Rocky Feliciano and the Central Bobcat boys basketball team.
Good evening. I just want to introduce the 2023-2024 boys basketball team at Central. We went 25-12 on the season, 7-3 in district, and we are the second team in school history to win the Doug McCutcheon tournament, as well as by district champions. This was my first assistant, Stephen Launderholm. Here we have Austin Colvin. He was academic all-district. Colin Albright was first team all-district. Alex Sanchez was second team all-district and academic all-district. Aiden Lopez was academic all-district. Hayden Schmidt, second team all-district, academic all-district. We had Jax Olson. Christian English was first team all-district and academic all-district. Had Edrin Green. Jordan Sellers was academic all-district. We have Caleb Jordan. Talmadge Taylor was newcomer of the year and academic all-district. And Trey Allen was honorable mention and academic all-district. Well, these were the 2023-2024 Bobcats.
One of the things I think is important is you hear them giving out their recognitions and that type of stuff is the academic all district, academic all state, and that type of stuff, which means our kids are not only taking care of business in the classroom, they're taking care of business on the court, but more importantly, what they're doing in the classroom, and that's what it's all about, is being student athletes. So next up, we have Coach McLaughlin, who is going to be introducing our Central Girls swim team.
As these girls get in their spots, I'd like to first off by starting off with thanking Dr. Moran, the SAISD board members, Coach Chant, for having us here today. We appreciate all the support that y'all have given us, given the Central Swimming Program this year. I also wanted to thank Mrs. Ross and the CHS administration for their continued support, Coach Foster and the CHS athletic training staff, for with their help and keeping our athletes healthy and rehabilitating them and for them to be able to stay in the water. I'd also like to thank Mr. Kennedy, Marty Pedrick, and the entire maintenance staff for all that they do to help keep the pool running and installing the new starting blocks at the beginning of the year and the new circulation pump over spring break. We had another very successful season on the girls' side. A quick season recap. These girls As a team, we placed first at the UTPB Invitational, Midland Invitational, San Angelo Invitational, and the Northside Winter Invite. We won the District 2-6A team title for the third year in a row. This is our 12th title in 15 years. We qualified 18 girls to regionals. We placed third place at regionals. This year, we also set 3 school records and added 16 times to the top 10, all-time top 10 list. In front of us, we have our, representing the girls team today, we have our regional finalists and seniors. Starting at the far end there, we have freshman Rory Woodring. She is second team all-district and a regional consolation finalist. Next, Peyton Brandt. She's first team all-district, regional consolation finalist, and third all-time in the 200 IM. Next, Holly Gibbs, first team all-district, and a regional consolation finalist. After Holly, we have Elsa Reel. She is honorary mention all-state in the 100 breaststroke, first team all-region, first team all-district, district champion in the 200 IM and 100 breaststroke, district record holder in the 200 freestyle relay, school record holder in the 200 medley relay, 200 IM, 100 backstroke, 100 breaststroke, and 400 freestyle relay. And that's it. After Elsa starts our junior class, Joanna Chavez, second team all-district, regional consolation finalist. Mallory Manning, first team all-district, first team all-region, district champion in the 50 free and 100 butterfly, district record holder in the 200 freestyle relay, school record holder in the 200 medley relay and 400 freestyle relay. Next, Zoe Moore, first team all-region, first team all-district. After that starts our senior class. First up, Camila Acevedo is a 4-year varsity member. She's first team all-region, first team all-district, school record holder in the 200 medley relay, and 7th all-time in the 100 breaststroke. Sophia Blastic, 4-year varsity member, second team all-district and regional qualifier. Paula Brame, 4-year varsity member, first team all-region, first team all-district. Clara Cotton, 4-year varsity member, second team all-region, first team all-district. Jillian Dobbs, 4-year varsity member, 3-time regional qualifier. Salma Hernandez, 4-year varsity member, second team all-region, or second team all-district. Second team all-region, first team all-district, district record holder in the 200 freestyle relay. And finishing up the group, Marissa Lopez, 4-year varsity member, second team all-district, first regional consolation finalist. They had a great season, and I want to thank you again for all your support. Next up, we have our boys team. Again, representing the team today, we have our seniors and regional finalists. Starting on the far end, freshman William Graves. He was season boys recap. They also placed first as a team in the UTPB Invitational, the Midland Invitational, San Angelo Invitational, and the Northside Winter Invite. They placed second at the District 2-6A Championship, losing by 6 points to Midland Legacy. Close battle. We didn't have diving. Midland Legacy had one diver for 9 points. We don't have diving, so lost by that. Broke a streak of 13 years in a row, but we'll get them back next year. We qualified 15 boys to regionals. They placed 9th as a team at regionals. We added 2 times to the top 10 2 times to the all-time top 10 list. Starting off our team representatives, William Graves, he was second team all-district and a regional consolation finalist. Sophomore Cody Williams, second team all-region, first team all-district. Junior Calvin Cartwright, first team all-district, regional consolation finalist. Jake Elliott, first team all-district, regional consolation finalist. James Ford, first team all-district, regional consolation finalist. Fisher Russworm, first team all-district, regional consolation finalist. Ben Vu, first team all-district, regional consolation finalist. Tristan Boyd, a senior Tristan Boyd, a 1-year varsity member, second team all-district and regional qualifier. And then senior Tristan Thompson, 4-year varsity member, second team all-region, first team all-district, and the 8th fastest backstroke, 100 backstroke all-time. Again, I'd like to say thank you again. We are always working towards getting better and faster. We currently have 200 swimmers in our program from top to bottom, around 60 swimmers in our SAISD after-school swim program, another 60 in our 60 in our middle school program, and another 60 on our varsity and JV swim programs. Thank you again, SAISD board and Dr. Moran and Coach Chant for all your support. And thank you. Thank you very much.
All right, we are going to keep moving forward with our recognitions, and Tiffany Heber is going to be up here to give us recognitions of Central High School and Lakeview High School students selected as Texas All-State musicians. And just a little side note, the board was blessed to hear some solos this afternoon before the meeting, and they were excellent. So really impressive work that these students and all the fine arts programs are doing. So thank you all for that little show this afternoon.
Yeah, before I say anything, I have to say I'm so excited about these nights because you hear sometimes negative things being said about our youth. No way. Look at this. Our future is so bright. It's so good. You guys are amazing. All right, so thank you and good evening, Dr. Kingman, Dr. Moran, and board members. We are pleased to honor and recognize outstanding Central High School and Lakeview High School band, choir, and mariachi students who earned the prestigious award an honor of being named Texas All-State Musicians. This is the highest honor a Texas music student can receive. We know that participation in extracurricular activities and programs like these impact students' success. The SAISD Learner Profile, skills of communicating, collaborating, critical thinking, and creating, they flourish in our fine arts programs and help our students excel and to be future ready. Congratulations on your achievements and dedication to music knowledge and skill, and thank you so much to our SAISD staff that generously give of all their time and their heart and their soul. I would like to welcome all 4 of our All-State musicians, Eric Brooks, Heidi Bundick, Isaac Corrales, and Mia Wilcox, to the podium to briefly introduce themselves and share with us experiences as an All-State musician. Please stand at the front. There you go. This is Eric.
Hi, I'm Eric. So I had the opportunity to be a part of the mixed choir at All-State this year. Some of the things that I took away from that was, obviously I've been in choir all 4 years of high school, but this is definitely some of the most wonderful music that anybody, at least me personally, that I've ever heard in my entire life. Honestly, it was really like changing my perspective on music as a whole. It was very insightful for me to just be able to be in that room of people that has such like potent passion to it, and you can really feel it in the air whenever you're sitting in the rehearsals. And our conductor, Dr. Barrett, was amazing, and he totally aided in the, fruition of that music. Some other things about All-State that I really liked was being able to walk through all of the exhibits that they had and how many opportunities for all musicians, not just me in choir, but everybody, to be able to go to their specific things and really have something for everybody to enjoy. Because, even though I'm a choir kid, I would see all of these people that doing what they love in these little pavilions, and they would be practicing with these random instruments. And of course, I have no idea what any of those are, but I could really see it on their faces, and it was really wonderful to see. And it was just a great experience for students and teachers alike, because I definitely know teachers had a lot to gain from it too. It was just a very wonderful experience in all, and it was a great first and last. So, thank you.
Hello, my name's Heidi Bundick. I'm a senior at Lakeview High School, and downstairs I played euphonium for you all, but I made All-State for double bass in the ATSSB All-State band. On top of that, I was first chair of the top band, and that was really nice. After 3 years, I was finally first chair. Also, I'm taking 2 solos to state in May for cello and euphonium, so that'd be nice. TMEA is a very long journey. It takes a lot of dedication and a lot of practicing. And I probably wouldn't be there without the teachers along the way, even all the way back in elementary school with Miss Smith, who's now at Glenn. Even teachers I didn't have that are from Central or from Glenn, I've been dealt a pretty hard hand of like cards in life, so music has always been an outlet, and now it's a career prospect. I'm graduating and I'm gonna go on to be a music ed major. I wanna pass on what my teachers have passed on to me. Great work ethic, keep your head up. You have to keep going no matter how hard it gets. And that definitely taught me that this year. This year's been very hard, but I've been able to keep up and do a lot. 3 years All-State, 3 years All-State Solo Ensemble. I was third in region overall for orchestra. I was first chair region for double bass and band, so no matter how hard it gets, it's that support system. And for me, it's always been my music teachers. They've always had my back throughout everything, so it's been nice.
Heidi, one question. I know you mentioned a couple of instruments that you play.
Yes.
So can you name how many you play, or just maybe name how many you just don't play, because you play everything?
So my primary instrument's cello. I've been playing that the longest. And then after that, it's percussion, then double bass, euphonium, electric bass guitar, and recently violin. So quite a few. So, oh yeah, and piano, just a little bit. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Isaac Corrales, and I'm a junior at Lakeview High School. TMA was a really eye-opening experience. It really opened my perspective as a musician to see that I'm also surrounded by other musicians in the same level, and it was really, to me, it was emotional, because I never thought I would get to a point where I would be, oh, he made it, it was really awesome to experience, especially like connecting with other students from other places. You know, South, I connected with a couple students down from the valley in McAllen, Texas, and it was a really good experience. Especially the practices. They were those practices were hard, but they really taught me to push through it, even though like it could get a little, little nerve-wracking at first. But as those practices went by, it taught me to have a really good, work ethic to stay on top. TMA also taught me a bunch of good, like, I don't know how to explain it. TMA taught me to really, stay humble and to really just be yourself, do what you enjoy. And yeah, I really enjoyed TMEA. It was a good experience.
Hi, my name is Mia Wilcox. I'm a senior from Central High School, and this year I made it on to TMEA All-State for the second year on flute. And I got to be directed under the newly retired President's Own Colonel Jason Fettig, which was really awesome. He was the clinician for the 6A Symphonic Band, which I was in, and I really enjoyed it. And I wanted to thank all of my directors for all the years they've helped me getting up to that point to be able to make the top band. Without all of their help and support, I definitely would never have made it. So I just want to thank them really quick. That's it.
Okay, don't leave yet. We're going to take pictures, but I have to remember to introduce. So this is Landon Gilmore. He's the Eric's choir director. We have Jason Jones, works with Mia over at Central High School in band. And then we have Franklin Pylan and Stephanie Infante, and they work with Heidi over at Lakeview. And then we have Rosendo Ramos and Ezra Ramirez, and they work with Isaac. So if you guys could come on up, we will take pictures.
All right, we are going to keep moving forward with recognitions. We have recognition of Three Rivers Counseling Association Student Tribute Awards and scholarship recipients, and Suncha is going to give us that recognition.
Thank you. Good evening, Dr. Kingman, Dr. Moran, and distinguished members of the board. It is my great privilege this evening to recognize 3 SAISD students who were selected for honors by the Three Rivers Counseling Association, with 2 of them receiving the Student Tribute Awards and 1 being awarded a scholarship. The Student Tribute Awards and the Student Scholarship are intended to highlight students who have overcome obstacles and shown courage, resilience, and determination. These students have overcome adversity in their lives to exhibit the SAISD learner profile skills, progress academically, and be successful in school and beyond. Please join me in congratulating our San Angelo ISD Student Award and Scholarship recipients. Bryson Gonzalez of Lincoln Middle School, he was awarded the Elementary School Student Tribute Award. Danielle Castro of Lone Star Middle School was awarded the Middle School Student Tribute Award. Angelina Galvan of Lakeview High School received the Three Rivers Counseling Association Scholarship. At this time, could we have Dr. Moran, Danielle, and the Lone Star counselors come up to the front for a photo? Bryson and Angelina could not be here this evening.
All right. Our last recognition of this evening is Dr. Farrah Gomez is going to recognize Jack Wilcox, Soon Cha, and Molly Turk, who are honored at the 2024 Texas Public School Relations Association Conference.
Dr. Kingman, Dr. Moran, and members of the board. So this is a little different, but it is very well deserved. Our communications team shines the spotlight on our students, staff, and schools to tell the story of what happens in SAISD. From photos, news articles, videos, interviews, and so much more. They capture the moments in time that tell the narrative of our graduates, our youngest learners, and those we are yet to meet. While they are usually behind a camera, like Jack right now, or a screen, it is a great honor that we recognize them front and center for all of their hard work and dedication to SAISD and the entire community of San Angelo. This evening, we celebrate our district communication team, which, as Dr. Kingman introduced in the intro, was honored with 13, that's correct, 13 star awards at the 2024 Texas School Public Relations Association TSPRA Conference. The award-winning communications team includes Jack Wilcox, Creative Director, Alba Buenuelos, Secretary, Soon Cha, Director of Community Relations, and Molly Johnson Turk, Executive Director of Communications. Together, the team received 8 Gold Star Awards, 3 Silver Star Awards, 1 Bronze Star Award, and 1 Best of Category Award. The awards honored work from last school year and were announced at TSPRA's 62nd Annual Stars Awards celebration held on February 28th in Sugar Land, Texas. TSPRA's Annual Stars Award recognized outstanding communications and communicators in school districts for their work in the areas of print, electronic, and visual communications. Awards are given in 47 main categories covering various media, such as newsletters, programs, posters, writing, photography, video, websites, and more. Bronze, silver, and gold stars are awarded in each category, and judges review their highest scoring gold star awards to select a best of category winner in each category. So, Jack, you're going to have to come from behind the camera and come on up. Notice Dr. Skelton now has the camera. So at this time, if the communications team would please come up front, joined by Dr. Moran, and if all of you would please join me in congratulating our communications team for their 13 Stars Award. And I think y'all know how to take a picture, all of you. And once Jack gets up here. Oh, if we have to, are we good? Or do we need someone to take the camera from Dr. Skelton? Oh, he can do the camera. He can do both cameras? Oh, he's going to make sure Jack is on the camera and in the picture. Fantastic. Y'all smile for that. Oh, fantastic. And now, would y'all please shake hands?
All right, we are going to continue to move forward with our agenda. Next on our agenda is public comment. I don't believe anyone signed up. Okay. And then we will move forward with information items. First is Jason Henry up with a construction update.
I want to thank y'all for having me here tonight. We'll go ahead and get right into this. The first school we have is McGill Elementary. Right here, as you'll see, they've almost finished all the sheeting, and they've started working on the weatherproofing on the outside of the building. We also have a lot of mechanical going on inside. They're working on all the hot and cold and the condensate lines for the HVAC system. Harrison Roofing has been on site. This is a picture of all of the waterproofing and the air barrier being after it's been applied to the outside of the sheathing. And Harrison has already finished all of the roofing over the cafeteria, so the cafeteria at this point is completely dried in at McGill. The next school we have is Fannin Elementary. This one has an extensive amount of dirt work. For anybody who's been over there, it's a lot of dirt work. This picture here shows that the same people are doing the sheathing on the outside at both places. They're almost done here at Fannin. They had a few issues with the panels that were put down, so they're waiting for the contractor to come back to finish that up, the steel erectors. Like I said, there's still a lot of dirt work going on. You can see the picture on the left-hand side is of all the drain work for the roof drains as well. Right here, same thing. At Fannin, plenty of other work going on inside the campus as far as all of the mechanical pieces, lots of plumbing and lots of electrical. The last one that we have is a new one. This was approved last week, the Sousa construction, where we're adding 7 classrooms to the Sousa Hall. Contracts have been sent out and signed and sent back, and we have our construction kickoff meeting scheduled for next Monday. Do y'all have any questions over any of those projects?
When will y'all be moving I guess, is it IT?
IT, about 90% of it was done today.
Okay.
So they're almost completely out of there.
Okay.
Thank y'all.
All right, thank you, Jason. And then in a similar vein, we're going to hear from Dr. Brandon and Skelton, or one of the other, both, regarding elementary consolidation.
Dr. Kingman, Dr. Moran, Board of Trustees, good evening.
As the district experiences decreased student enrollment, the Board of Trustees, with the assistance of Park Hill Architects, evaluated campus efficiencies district-wide. Through this process, Altaloma and Austin Elementaries were selected for closure and consolidation. We have for you this evening there at your place some of that information on the efficiencies and then what is the cost savings that we see from that. And so we've taken the information from Park Hill and from our budgets and divided those down into various functions, 11 being instruction, 12 instructional coaches, instructional media, library services. So you can see for each one of those what the savings is, and then also for the Oaks campus, as Mr. Henry just alluded to, with the addition of classrooms there and closing of some classrooms at Oaks. After you see all of that, plant maintenance, food service, data processing, the district will realize just over a $2 million savings and several different increased efficiencies across the board for those decisions. And Dr. Skelton will go into a little more depth on what the staffing looks like in those closures.
Thank you. Good evening, board. Dr. Moran. Just when it comes to the staffing, just by combining the two, each campuses, we got Altaloma and Fannin and Austin and McGill, we're able to save instructionally 5 teachers from each, or positions, professional positions from each campus. So that'd be a total of 10 FTEs that we would be reducing by. That doesn't include other staff that we would be reducing that are singletons on some other campuses, but that's where the instructional FTEs come from, 5 from each campus. Now, when we do combine all 4 of those campuses, one campus has a half-time assistant principal, so we will be have to add an assistant principal to the 2 new campuses because of their size. So that's going to actually raise our FTE 1.5 to cover the addition of the assistant principal role and the 2 new campuses. Do you have any questions on just the staffing piece of it?
And just as a note, every employee who is currently employed by our district will continue to have employment at our district with this consolidation.
Correct. Correct. And Dr. Gomez and I have been meeting with those employees at those campuses. We've met since February, met with them individually to have those discussions if they were singletons on their campus. For example, music, PE, counselors, etc. We've had individual meetings, and we are working together to find the best spot for them.
I think it's just important to point out that as the state funding continues to be a moving target, but most districts, elementary schools, I think when we did our assessment, the average elementary school was roughly a 700-person elementary school. And so the state funding formulas are basically based on those efficiencies. And as we look as a district moving forward, we have to look at how the state is funding us so that we can continue to give the best opportunities to each of our students in SASD. So. All right, so Dr. Gomez, you are back up for middle of the year academic updates.
Dr. Kingman, Dr. Moran, and members of the board, I'm going to start the presentation and then introduce some of our team members to go through specific pieces of the presentation. For us and the work that we support throughout the district, we always start with the district's fundamental 5 and the 3 big rocks. So specifically, the district goals that have been set and approved by the board, our learner profile, our educator profile, our work with our community-based accountability system, and then, of course, our fundamental belief in the way that we treat students and adults in SAISD through capturing kids' hearts. And then our work around what we've identified as our 3 big rocks through MTSS, our multi-tiered systems of support for academics and behavior, our special subpopulations that we've identified that we need additional supports in SAISD around specifically special education and emergent bilingual, and how we do that work in professional learning communities, because teaching requires a lot of great minds. It is hard work, so more minds are greater than one. So that's the way in which we do this work. And then specifically when we talk about district goals, the district goal of student engagement and having district assessments. So we oftentimes bring our assessments to the board and we talk about how our students are doing. In the beginning of the year, we talked specifically about K2 and how students were coming to our teachers with assessments, and then also through MAP, and that's what we will be sharing. So at this time, I'm going to do some introductions of our team members, specifically in elementary. Our Director of Elementary Curriculum and Instruction, Mrs. Brooke Collenbach. Also, team members of our elementary team, we have Christian Godfrey, our Coordinator of Humanities. We have Lorraine Campos, our Coordinator of STEM. We have Angela Ward, she's our literacy coach. Want to expand a little bit, brag on all of these ladies. You've heard a lot as we've talked about the reading academies. So Ms. Ward, she works through reading academies and then does further support with teachers after they've gone through reading academies, going back and coaching them through all that they've learned, because reading academies is a college course in and of itself. Then in our secondary team, we have Mr. Matt Eskew, our Director of Secondary CNI. We have Mrs. Angela Pigeon. We like to have these really fancy titles in education. She's a Director of Differentiated Instruction and Special Populations. Mrs. Pigeon works with a lot of levels, specifically with gifted and talented, with special subpopulations from emergent bilingual, so she also works side by side, Mrs. Diego. And then you've seen Mrs. Hebner this evening through the lens of fine arts, but Mrs. Hebner also works with advanced academics, elementary and secondary. So I think first, Ms. Collenbach, I don't know if you're coming up first. Okay, and Ms. Collenbach is going to take us through some K2 data specific to M class and talk some math specific to reflex, which we haven't had a lot of time to talk to you guys about this year.
Good evening. Thank you for having me. I just want to update you on our progress. We gave our middle of year screener for M class. So I just want to give you a chance to look at our reading growth. It's separated there for you by grade level, kindergarten, first and second grade. You can see the progress in those areas. For example, kindergarten, at the beginning of the year, 51% of our students were well below where they needed to be, and we're making ground on that. With 43% currently at middle of the year. This would have been mid-January when we were giving these assessments, so we're looking forward to, we've implemented our new phonics program, Amplify. I think you've seen that at some of the campuses you've visited. We're excited to see where we're going to land at the end of the year. Anytime you switch to a new resource, there's a little bit of time there to show that growth, so we're being patient, but we are seeing progress. Especially, I would like to point out the area of at or above grade level in second grade. We're seeing great gains there. Almost 45% of our students in second grade, half of our students are at or above level. So we are making progress with reading. You can see the pie chart there shows the beginning of year and middle of year. Questions about reading? Okay, let's talk a little bit about math. Just a note about M-Class, reading and math, both of those assessments are timed assessments, so students have to complete the tasks rather quickly. It's to really show mastery of the skill. So if we were to give students extended amounts of time, if that were the way the assessment were built, I think we would see even more progress, but because they want them to be automatic at those skills, some of our students take a little longer to show that progress. But here's math. K through 2. I'll give you a second to look and see if you have questions. Sometimes it's hard to tell when you're looking in that below benchmark, that yellow area, where did the kids go? Did they move up or did they move down? That's digging into that data. We do that by campus. Campuses do that at the campus level and the class level, so they're really tracking those students to ensure that we're moving the correct direction. When we look through the lens, like Dr. Gomez mentioned, about our MTSS, our multi-tiered system of support, those students that are in that well below area are the ones receiving extra intervention from our interventionists. They're being pulled to the small group table by the teacher. They're getting all of those extra things that we have for them. One area.
Sorry,
go ahead,
question.
Dr. Keeman.
What do we think's? I know y'all are drilling down this, but what do we think's going on in second grade that we're not seeing the same growth as K through 1? Is it what's changed on that test, or?
Their test is pretty detailed. Some of the second grade test is on paper, actually. I'm looking at Ms. Campos because she's our expert in math. So I think that could be a factor in it too. Other explanations, Ms. Campos?
Ms. Campos, I'm sorry, I'm
She's
going to
gotta
make you
have on
come
the
to the
microphone.
microphone. I apologize.
Because we're recording.
Hello, thank you for having me here tonight. Just the fact that the expectation from the beginning of the year changes to the middle of the year, that also affects the data as well. Yeah. The bar is a little higher in the expectation middle of year compared to beginning of year.
Ms. Campos, have we seen any sort of significant population influx from into second grade that have come from out of the district this year also?
I do not know.
I don't know that direct answer off the top of my head.
Okay.
We have students every year, but I don't know that it's a large number that would be impacting
Sure,
that.
no problem.
That'd be something we could dig into. I think the next slide will explain a little bit. It's a new program that we've implemented this year. It's called Reflex Math, and it's in response to what we're hearing from teachers, what we hear from parents. You know, kids don't know their math facts. If they just knew their math facts, we hear that from Algebra 1 teachers, right? If they knew their math facts, they'd be a lot better, and it would be automatic. They wouldn't have to be counting on their fingers or writing things, tally marks on their page. They could be quicker at math. So the next piece of data will show you we've implemented Reflex Math. It's a computer program online that our kids are using from 1st through 5th grade in math. And you can see the first time they log on, it gave them an assessment. So the red is where our students were the first time they logged on, right? Only if I can see that correctly, I think it's 0.3% of our students were in green and had mastered their math facts. That's across the district. It's astounding that only that small portion were mastered. If you look at it now, where we are currently, you can see it's much higher. We're making quick gains with our math facts, which we know will directly impact our M-class data at the end of the year when they've got those facts automatically. We started 3rd through 5th in September, October, beginning of the year, and then we rolled this same program to 1st and 2nd grade beginning in January. So all of our kids are spending time on Reflex Math, working on those math facts every day.
And the fact that the screener is timed, the automaticity with their facts is really going to help raise those scores for the end of the year.
I think the important thing is we're identifying, we'll let the math teacher talk here in a second, but that we're identifying it and y'all are making steps to improve it. And that's, as a board, I think what we care about is that we have y'all putting the steps in place that we know there are areas that we're not excelling in and that we're working towards making those areas better. So thank y'all for that work.
Thank you.
I was just going to clarify for people watching, the math facts in K through 2nd are just adding and subtracting?
Yes, ma'am. And then 3rd through 5th, they add on multiplication and division.
Okay.
I don't know that we would limit a student, though, if we have a 2nd grader or a 1st grader who's mastered their addition and subtraction, that we wouldn't push them right on to the next. It gives us the ability to do that. We can assign them what they're working on.
So is that also in the Reflex Math?
Yes.
It is. They can
Yes,
keep
teachers
moving?
can choose what the students are working on.
Cool.
Yeah, Ms. Conover, my question was concerning some of the migrant population influx. We may be seeing some kids that really haven't even seen a classroom with post-COVID and with the influx of some of the migrant population. We may have seen some kids that haven't seen a classroom in there for the first time. We're seeing them as either first grade, second grade, kindergarten.
Absolutely.
So
We have students with really large gaps. That's why we immediately address them with the screener. We know where they're at, and we can make a plan for them to support them with our interventionists or our EB support specialists.
great, thank you.
Any other questions? Okay, I think maybe Mr. Eskew is next.
Good evening. I'm here to talk about math as it relates to MAP. So it's a different assessment that we give to track our students. So it's always good to go back and remind ourselves what MAP is. MAP is an adaptive assessment that we give twice a year, both at the beginning of the year and at the middle of the year. What makes it adaptive is as the students answer questions, when they get more questions right, the questions get progressively harder. When they start missing questions, the questions get progressively easier. The goal of MAP is to find that spot where they get 50% right, 50% wrong. Wherever that balance is, it assigns them a RIT score, which is what numbers you see up here. Why the RIT score is so important is that it allows us to make some decisions about students. One, it gives us a pulse check on our district of how we're progressing throughout the year. It also allows us to talk about what students are ready to learn for Tier 1, and then what support students might need in that Tier 2 to get ready for Tier 1. So when you look at the MAP math growth here, we have growth in all areas. When it comes to MAP, we have 3 different tests that we give. Elementary takes the 2-5 test. Middle school takes the 6+, and then Algebra 1 takes the Algebra 1 test, which is the first time that we really specialize in a math topic is in Algebra 1. Before that, it's all building blocks and understanding like the fluency, like they were talking about with reflex and the overall concepts. Do we have questions about MAP as it goes to math?
I guess the only question I have is our growth. I mean, we're seeing growth, and I know traditionally we've been told that that's the 5 to 7 is in the average MAP growth that we expect for a student progressing in a normal course. Are numbers relative to this year and last year similar for a 7th grader middle of the year 2024 to 7th grader middle of the year 2023?
Yes, our scores are pretty consistent where we've been in the past. When it comes to the RIT score, everyone wants to look at it as everybody gets 5 points, everybody gets 7 points, but it's always determined by the grade level. Everyone has a different RIT score with a different standard deviation. So like 3rd grade may be like a 180 as normal, but the standard deviation may be 12 points either side of that, because MAP has gone through and normalized it based on the kid's age and the amount of educational exposure they've had. Any other questions about math?
This might be a MAP score, can you look at that and predict a STAR score?
So that is one of the new features they've come out with, where they can go through and they've taken all of the MAP data from districts who are in Texas and have correlated it back to STAR scores. So for elementary and middle school, it's been pretty consistent. It's been there for a while. For Algebra 1, it's one of the newer ones. Last year, they came out with a study. So we had to go through, I created a big old spreadsheet and just correlated ourselves and kind of did calculations. In the end, they were with about 3 to 5 percentage points of where we ended up at the end of the year. So this year, they've gathered more data and they're continually getting more consistent. So that standard deviation isn't as much. Any other questions about math?
I just had sort of a follow-up question from what Dr. Kingman was saying. So he mentioned the 5 to 7 is what you would expect typically, is that right?
Depending on the grade level, yes.
Okay.
Every student's going to be different. The higher the RIT score, the less growth that they predict. The lower the RIT score, sometimes the higher they can grow. So it's really based on individual students. But in the lower grades, 5 to 7 is most definitely a norm. When you get higher up, the growth is harder to gain each time. So it gets smaller and smaller the higher you go.
Gotcha. And so obviously we're improving, which is, I would hope that we're doing at least that, but how do we compare to other districts? Do we have that data available?
I personally don't have that other data available. MAP doesn't give that to us. We'd have to ask other districts if they're willing to share. They just give us national norms of what a 7th grader would be, what an 8th grader would be.
Okay, so like one last follow-up question, I apologize, and not to get in the weeds. Is there anywhere on this map data where we're seeing things where we're putting resources into grade levels that we're changing our plan as a district mid-year based on this data? Or is that an individual student situation with the teacher?
It's both. It's a lot of individual students as a teacher. The other thing we've implemented this year are the unit assessments. So as we've worked through those and looked at those, we've made instructional decisions and changes in them as we've gone through each one of those assessments, both talking about was our Tier 1 instruction not where it needed to be, is why a student missed the question, or with the new STAR 2.0 question types, do the students not know how to manipulate the question yet? So we've had lots of conversations about those also in secondary.
All right, well, thank you.
All right. And then Ms. Pigeon is going to come up and talk to y'all about MAP English.
Good evening. I'm just here to share the RIT scores for our reading growth 3rd through 10th grade. So I'll give you a minute to look at those. And as Matt said, the growth measure is increasingly more difficult, more challenging to achieve because that window for growth shrinks each year. It starts out 5 to 7, and then by English 2, 10th grade, it's 2 points. Typically, 5th to 6th grade, they're taking a new test with increasingly analytical items, especially with informational genre, argumentative text. That presents a challenge to our students cognitively, thinking through that analytical lens. And then as well, we also see that our progress monitoring in literacy is both MAP and as well as the unit assessments, like Matt said.
Any questions from Ms. Pigeon? Obviously, we know as a district, we've identified prior to this year that reading affects both our math scores and our reading scores because of how the tests are written, and that we have spent dollars and time and a lot of labor by our teachers and administrative team to try and shore up that anywhere there is deficit. So I appreciate the work that everyone's doing because we understand that if kids aren't reading, then it's very hard for them to do any of the other things well. So appreciate all y'all's work on that.
Thank you.
Dr. Gomez, you have anything else? You good? Okay. All right. Thank you all of y'all for being here and for giving us that update this evening. Next, we have downtown historic overlay update, and Dr. Moran is going to give us a wonderful update on that.
It'll be wonderful. All right. Well, just for the board's pleasure, as you may or may not know, the city of San Angelo is considering expanding the downtown overlay, which would include 218 North Oaks, which is our central on Oaks campus. It's being considered by the city's historic overlay, and the commission had a meeting this Thursday. It was an agenda item. They set the agenda item aside. Once the meeting began, both Dr. Kingman and I spoke in open forum against the measure. The SAISD leadership team will meet with the city next week to discuss the matter and present concerns. Some of our concerns are pretty simple and basic, but they are For instance, we believe that placing this historic designation on the building will cause undue burden on the district and taxpayers due to cost and bureaucracy associated with renovations and future planning for the use of the building. Also, we recognize and appreciate the effort that the city is making to preserve the historic downtown area. It's a beautiful downtown. We respect that. We respect the process. We felt like it was being rushed. We felt like it needed to slow down and that all the facts need to be laid on the table. So we'll be addressing our concerns to the city next week and believe that once they have all the facts, they can make a better and more informed decision. But frankly, for the board, this designation could create some issues if it were to occur because it would limit what we were able to do with the building in the future. So as we move ninth graders out of that building and onto the Central Main campus, we would like to have all of our options about what we might want to do with Central on Oaks. And I don't even know what those options are right now, to be honest with you. The board, prior to my coming, may or may not have discussed that publicly. I'm not aware of that. But I think that it's going to be a topic that, as a board, we have to tackle and consider what do we want to do with that building. And right now, all of the options should be on the table for you as a board. By this designation, it could handcuff us as a board and limit us. And then if it were to occur, we would be spending more time and money on that building than we care to spend. So, questions?
Dr. Moran? I turn the microphone on. Dr. Moran, what are they looking at as putting under the historical? Is it just the old annex building?
There's two buildings.
Yeah, there's two buildings, but the one that's connected to that, the bigger one, that was added in 1979.
Yeah.
So are they just looking at the old annex building that was actually the first college?
The property itself at 218 North Oaks is the property that's listed on the agenda. Now, I know that the facade of that building, being the first junior college, is, I think, the intent of the preservation.
Okay.
But I'm not sure. I think it would include the whole property.
Yeah, I believe, and this is why the city was kind enough to give us some time for them to meet with our administrative team, but my understanding of, and I think Mr. Dindal even served on that committee, I think at one point in time, but my understanding is the entire plot of land then falls under that overlay. And so while the facade and those things and what it looks like to the public is the majority of their concern, the reality is the way the overlay works, the entire property becomes part of that overlay. Go ahead.
And if I might add one thing, just a reminder that our maintenance building out on near Christoval Street across the river, that I believe it's the old TxDOT building. That building is a historic building. And if you'll recall, there was a storm that blew the windows out, and we had to replace 22 windows at a cost of $46,000. And the reason it cost that much is because of the historic designation. And so it was twice as much as we would have spent had it not been. So that's just a good example of what we're getting into here.
So I think for the board, I think it's important, a couple things. One, obviously, as Dr. Moran mentioned, as we try to be stewards of safety, security, student success, and taxpayer dollars, there's factors in each one of those. As a publicly elected board, there's already a avenue for citizens, et cetera, to come and discuss what we do with that property, and there's elections to determine what is done with that property. But I think the biggest thing as a board for right now is this isn't an action item at the moment, but depending on how meetings with city go, at some point as a board, we will likely need to take a vote of how I can present our concerns, et cetera, to city council or not our concerns, depending on what the board decides. But that would need to be we might need that vote in the future, so that's why we wanted to go ahead and start that today. For our community members, the other important thing is we can't even talk about this as a board without it being on the agenda. We can't sell any real property, we can't do anything, we can't make any decisions regarding that property without all of us sitting here and talking about it in front of the public. And so I believe some of this is moving quickly because of rumors and innuendos that have no fact behind them, because as a board, there's no avenue for that to have happened without it being right here in this room. So,
and I'll make a final comment that we plan to bring this back to you in April as an agenda item. That would be an action item, to give you an opportunity to at least consider that. Whether you take action or not is your decision, but certainly we'll bring that back to you in April.
all right. Thank you, Dr. Moran. All right. So any other questions regarding that? All right. We're going to move forward with consent items. We have consent items A through I. First, we have donations. There were several donations to San Angelo Reeds from Howard College, Whataburger, G&G, Gandy Inc., and those were mentioned before. We have our minutes from our February 5th, 2024 workshop, February 12th, 2024 pre-agenda workshop, and our February 20th, 2024 regular board meeting. We have an update to TASB Board Policy CH Local. We have a proposed amendment for district official budget for the general fund. We have item E, consider proposed amendment for district official budget child nutrition fund. We have item F, consider approval of quarterly investment report. Item G, consider printing services RFP 24-1. Thanks for getting that in the right order. Consider option A, bid 20-009, maintenance, transportation, and miscellaneous supplies. And I, superintendent's recommendations. But I don't, unless I missed something, I think I doesn't, just confirming. Yeah, there is no I, so we can stop by, correct? Dr. Skelton, there's no, oh, that's the administrative, I apologize. Y'all want that one to be there. We should do that. Sorry, used to the last one being personnel with, good deal. We will keep that one. Superintendent's recommendations for the 24-25 administrators contracts. Do I have a motion to approve items A through I?
Make a motion to approve consent items A through I.
And do I have a second?
I'll second.
So I have a motion from Mr. Gallegos and a second from Mrs. Mizell Flint. Any further board comment? All in favor say aye. Aye. All against say the same. Motion passes 7-0. Next, we have our item 8, which is consider bills, accounts, and financial statements for our February 2024.
Move for approval.
So, motion from Mr. Dindal. Have a second?
Second.
A second from Mr. Gallegos. Any board comment?
Dr. Kingman, just as also report on all these items, several of the consent items and the bills and accounts and financial statements are discussed in detail at the previous pre-agenda meeting last week. And all these reports can be found in their entirety online at our website, SAISD, and there's a subtitle that says Financial Transparency that has all these reports listed.
Thank you, Mr. Dindal. So I have a motion from Mr. Dindal and a second from Mr. Gallegos. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All against, say the same. Motion passes 7-0. We do not need to go into, does anyone, board member, need to go into executive session under anything? No? Okay. Our announcements, we have the finance pre-agenda workshop April 8th, 2024. We have a regular board meeting February 15th, 2024. We're also going to have a team of 8 workshop that was in your Friday facts. So if that doesn't work for you, please let Jessica know.
And just to let the board know that today I spoke with the trainer and he may have a conflict on the date we picked. So we may be coming back to you with another date, but just know that it's coming. We've got an A+ trainer, awesome, will be good for us all, and we'll coordinate the dates.
Any other further board business? All right, with all that being said, then this meeting is now adjourned. Thank you all for being here.